Okay, so to answer these first couple questions, is A, B, and F, G skew? Here is A, B, here is F, G. Remember, skew means they never touch and they go different directions. True or false? True. They are skew. Are DH and HG, I'm going to use a different color. Here's DH. Here's HG. Are they perpendicular? True or false? So, normally, what do I say about perpendicular? You cannot assume. However, what shape is this? It's a cube. And what do we know about cubes? They are made of squares. So that one is actually true. Are AD, let me get a different color again. Here's AD and BC, are they coplanar? Are they on the same plane? Can I connect them on the same plane? That's true. And then last but not least are AD and EF perpendicular? No. What are they? They are skew. They don't even touch. So they're skew. It says complete the conditional statement. If two lines do not intersect, then you could have written a couple different things. What's one thing you could say if two lines don't intersect? Anybody? If two lines don't intersect, then they are parallel. Could have been one thing you said. Or instead of parallel, what else could they be if they don't touch? Skew. So either one of those words works. You don't have to put both. What would be the hypothesis for this problem? Remember, hypothesis is after the if. And what is the conclusion? Whichever one you wrote. You either wrote they are parallel or they are skew. What does converse mean? To switch. You are going to switch your hypothesis and conclusion. So if you are in Spanish, then you are taking a foreign language. I'm going to switch these two things. So what will I say? If you are taking, I'm just going to put FL because I'm being lazy. By the way, your test is 50 questions. It's tomorrow. It's 50 questions. All of it is matching. Yep. So it's going to be broken up in sections, basically kind of by units. So it'll be broken up in a section. So you'll have a section about conditionals, and then you're going to match the answers. Then you'll have a section about vocabulary, match the answers. Then you'll have a section about distance and midpoint formula. You'll match them. So different things like that. It's all so 50 questions, all matching. All right. Maybe you'll have 4 triangles. Which one's acute? Which one's obtuse? Like that. Okay. All matching. Is the converse true or false? If you're taking a foreign language, then you're taking Spanish. True or false? False. What could you be taking? You can take French. Is that all they offer here now? They used to offer Latin. They used to offer German. They used to offer sign language. I wish they still offered sign language. That one to me is very useful too. All right. Not turning over. Y'all are on the same page. I'm turning over. Complete the sentence to make it true. What does complementary mean? And what does supplementary mean? Complementary means have a sum of 90 degrees. Ooh, that'll help those two in the back. Supplementary means they have a sum of 180 degrees. This says find the distance and midpoint of the two. Y'all look around the room. By the way, Jordan, Dariel, your distance and midpoint formulas are right there on the boards. Please use them. Those are not going to be erased, so please use them tomorrow as well. As a reminder, your distance formula is the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. Your midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 divided by 2. All you now have to decide is what is your x1 and y1 and your x2 and y2. And plug that into the formula. X2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. If I'm going too fast, please let me know. And now I'm just going to take this and I'm going to plug it into Desmos. So I'm going to do the square root of x2 minus x1 squared. Don't forget the plus in the middle. Parentheses y2 minus y1. Don't forget your squared. So you get the distance is 12.8. Now I need to do the same thing but with midpoint formula. So I'm going to add my x's, negative 3 plus 7 divided by 2. Add my y's, 2 plus 10 divided by 2. I'm doing this with you. Remember, you turn this in, you get 5 extra points on your final. And now I'm just going to put this in the calculator. Hit the divided by sign so it automatically does that. So negative 3 plus 7 divided by 2. You need the comma. 2 plus 10 divided by 2. And if I hit label, it'll give me the answer. What's my answer? No, if I hit the dot, sorry, if I hit the point. What's my answer? 2, 6. I'm going to give y'all 1 minute. I want you to do B on your own. Go. Alright, I'm going to put this in the calculator again. 2 minus 0 squared plus 6 minus 0 squared. What did y'all get? 6.3? Okay. And then now I'm going to do the midpoint formula. Actually, we don't even need to, let's do this one by head in our heads. What's 0 plus 2? Divided by 2? 1. What's 0 plus 6? Divided by 2? So you don't have to use a calculator. Some of it can be done in your head if you want. Do I have any questions about distance and midpoint? A lot of people had questions about this next one. I hope when you see this, you're going to be like, oh, that's it. Did y'all write that down? Are y'all good? M is the midpoint, so I'm going to put M in the middle of RT. If MR is 9, so I'm going to put a 9, what else do I know? What's MT? Also 9. So what is RT? Is that really all you have to do? Yes. If M is the midpoint, then it's in the middle. These two are going to be the same. A is between, so I'm going to put A between P and M. PA is 6. PM, that's the whole thing, is 20. How do I find what's left right here, this AM? How do I find AM? Subtract. AM is going to be 20 minus 6. I want to know what's left over, so what is AM? 14. Turning over. This just wants you to be able to recognize. Remember I told you it was going to be matching? So if I show you a picture, can you recognize the vocabulary word? What do vertical angles look like? What do vertical angles look like? Where are the angles? They are what? Across from each other. So 1 and 2 would be vertical angles. What does a linear pair look like? They would be what? A linear pair would be right next to each other. A median. A median is a line that goes in the middle of the line. So it creates a midpoint. Remember, a median has tick marks. What does an altitude have? Does anybody remember an altitude? It is the height. So what does it have to have in the picture? Not tick marks. The height has to have a box. So just remember, altitude has a box. A median has tick marks. And I feel like y'all know those. I feel like those we don't need. All right, we just kind of went over this, but what is 1 and 2? 1 and 2 are right next to each other. What do we call that? A linear pair. When they're right next to each other, it's a linear pair. 8 and 4. 8 and 4 are what? Same side or different sides? Same. Inside or outside? One of each. So what is that called? Corresponding angles. Corresponding angles are when they're on the same side, one inside, one outside. What about 2 and 8? Same side or different sides? Inside or outside? So these are same side, outside, which is exterior. And last but not least, I'm going to box 3 and 5. Same side or different sides? Remember when they're different, we call that alternate. Inside or outside? Inside. Remember, inside means they're between these two lines. So those are inside because they're between those two lines. So again, you'll have a picture like this and you'll be matching tomorrow. Next question says, use the following information to find the missing measures. And it tells you they're parallel, and it also tells you 3 is 120 degrees. I'm not even going to pay attention to this. Sorry for my ugly nails. If I know 3 is 120, what else do I know? 1 is 120. What else? 8 and 5 are also, because it's parallel, my corresponding angles, the ones that are in the same spot, will be the same. How do I find all the others? How do I find 2, 4, 6, and 7? These are a linear pair. So 180 minus 120 is, so everything else is 60. And once you know that, now I can just fill in all of this. 1 is 120, 2 is 60, 4 is 60, 5 is 120. Like so. Again, if you know one of these, you can figure out all of them. Those across and in the same spots are all the same. And then subtract from 180. Ooh, this is what we did the first week of school. You have an equation, y equals 1/2 x minus 5. What is my slope? Which number is the slope? 1/2. Remember, it's mx plus b. Your m is your slope, whatever is next to x. What's the y-intercept? -5, your b. What would be an equation parallel? Parallel lines have the same slope. Parallel means same slope. What was my slope up top? So my parallel slope would also be 1/2. Parallel means same slope. What does perpendicular mean? Flip and switch. How do I flip and switch 1/2? Flip 1/2, what does it become? 2/1. And it's positive, what is it going to become? Negative. So I flip the fraction, switch my sign. What is -2/1? -2. Okay. All right, let's look at this one. It says classify by sides and angles. What do you notice about all my angles? They're all different and they are all, what type of angle? They're all less than 90. So if they're all different and they're all less than 90, this is an acute, what does it mean if they're all different? Scaling. Acute scaling. My next one, what do you notice? Has a 90-degree angle, which is called a right angle. What else do we notice? Two of the sides are the same. What's that called? It's a right isosceles triangle. And last one. One angle that's bigger than 90 is called an obtuse. And then two sides are the same. What do we know about a triangle? What does it have to add up to? 180. So if a triangle that we don't have all three angles, how do we figure out what the missing angle is right here? What do we do? Let's add those together. So 57, instead of doing that by hand, I'm going to do it in Desmos. Just to make sure y'all are good. 57 plus 25. And then what am I going to do with that? Subtract it from 180. So 82, 180 minus 82 is 98 degrees. That's a former boy band back in the 2000s. All right, this one right here. How can I find x if it's outside like that? Just add those together. What is 40 plus 72? 40 plus 72 is 112 degrees. And that's all you have to do there. That's called the remote exterior angle. It's the angle that's not next to one of those interiors. For this one right here, what's special about this one? There's tick marks. This picture does not look like it, but it is an isosceles triangle. So if this is 70, what do you know about this one? It's going to be 70 as well. How, not that it's asking, but how would I find that one up top? How would I find this? If it asked me, how would I find this angle up top right there? Add 70 and 70 and subtract from 180. And then the last one in this section, what do these little tick marks mean right here? Or arches? What do the arches mean? They're the same. So if this is 21, that's 21. How do I find the whole thing? There we go. Last but not least, you are figuring out if they are congruent or not. If they are, you're just putting how. So what is this right here? What do I have? SSS. Is SSS congruent? Yep. What do I have right here? I have two sides and an angle on both of them. Two sides and an angle. Is my angle in the middle, in between these two sides? Yes. So it's SAS, which works. Not the bad word, not AAA. We're good. What about my last one? I have two sides and an angle. Do I have that on both of them? Is it the same picture for both of them? No. So this is not congruent. Because this one, the angle is not between the two sides, which doesn't work. That's the bad word, right? But this one right here, the angle is between the two sides. So these are not even the same picture. Again, your final is tomorrow, 50 questions unless you exempted. You turn this in, you get 5 extra points. You can turn it in now or you can turn it in tomorrow before class if you would prefer to study it tonight. Do I have any other questions? Did I go over all the questions you had? Which one was it, just for reference? It was only that one? All right, thank y'all for paying attention.